is just fantastic. Captain's log. Subdates 220412.6. I think we are long overdue for one of these blasted videos to get monetized. Maybe today is that day. Failing that, I'll go take my frustrations out on inmates and their cells by making their cells smaller and the perps bigger. Before we start this video, I would like to give you an update to the Halls of Injustice number 112 concerning Savannah Brockhill and Frankie Smith, where the daughter, Star Hobson, the biological daughter of Frankie Smith, passed away at the hands of Savannah Brockhill. The sentence for Frankie Smith was 8 years for causing or allowing the death of her 16-month-old daughter. An appeal took place, and the sentence was increased to 12 years, which obviously here we do not consider remotely acceptable, but as it is an update, I thought it right to provide it. So hello everyone, welcome to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome inmates number 123 to the ISO cubes. His name is Dylan Mills, but he is well known in the United Kingdom under another name. That name is Dizzee Rascal. For this video, we are going to go through who Dizzee Rascal is, the crime that Dizzee Rascal committed, and the sentence, along with discussing related laws to the crimes he had committed. So to start, who is Dizzee Rascal? Dizzee Rascal MBE was born in 1984 in Bow, London. He had a rather violent and disruptive upbringing where he was expelled from many schools, with his mother desperately attempting to keep him in the school system because she believed it was his best option for growing up and doing well in life. After being encouraged by a music teacher in secondary school, he began to make music on the school's computer, and during summer holidays attended music workshops that were organised by Tower Hamlets Summer University. It was at childhood friend Danny Shittu's home that he was able to produce some of his first mixtapes and tracks. Dizzee Rascal is a grime artist. Grime is a genre of electronic music that emerged in the early turn of the century. It had developed out of earlier dance-style UK garage, and drew influences from jungle, dancehall and hip-hop. It, like any genre, has gone through a rise, a fall and a rise again. Dizzee Rascal is arguably one of the biggest names from, let's say, that original period, with other artists like Stormzy, who is a more current artist, being considered the one who has revived the genre. Dizzee Rascal is a multi-award-winning artist, having won BT Music Awards, Mercury Prize Awards, Urban Music, Mobo, NME, Brit Awards, Ivor Novel, Q Awards. He is incredibly successful, with his first 4 albums being certified as gold and platinum in the United Kingdom. To hit gold you have to sell 100,000, platinum 300,000. 2 of his albums are platinum, 2 are gold. But as earlier stated, with the decline of grime at the turn of 2010, maybe 2011, follow-up albums from Tongue in Cheek, which is the 4th and arguably the most successful, Boy in the Corner being the first, the most critically acclaimed, he never reached anywhere near the level of success. Not that he needed to, the man has released the last 4 albums on his own record label, Dirty Stank. He himself is a well-known and successful producer. In 2005, Dizzee Rascal was arrested for allegedly carrying pepper spray. I have no idea what happened since, but I do recall this in the news. In 2008 December, he was arrested and held on suspicion of possessing an offensive weapon after approaching a motorist with a baseball bat in a road rage incident. Dizzee Rascal dated Cassandra Jones, and with her he had a daughter and a son, before they split in February 2021. It is that relationship that will be the crimes of Dizzee, which I know we've discussed some of his anger issues in the past. We could talk about the fact he went teetotal briefly, but I'll be honest, that's comical. So we shall now instead discuss the crimes of Dizzee Rascal. As if it wasn't obvious enough, when I earlier mentioned Dizzee Rascal had anger management issues that can be traced back to his childhood, yes, that is applicable here to this 9-year relationship and the custody arrangement concerning the 2 children they had together. On the 8th of June 2021, 4 months after they had split up, Dizzee Rascal was dropping his daughter off at his ex's home in Streatham, which is in South London. Because of traffic, he was running late. This led to Cassandra Jones calling and texting him while he was driving, asking whether they would be back in time for a chicken dinner at 5 p.m. Dizzee Rascal decided to send back, "Shut up, don't give me no lip, and shut your effing mouth." Upon his arrival, he decided his frustration could not be contained any longer, and he barged his way into the property. He then proceeded to smash his head into a fridge 3 times while holding his son, to then start screaming and shouting at Cassandra Jones and her mother, Dawn Kirk. He then decided to use his forehead as a suitable intimidation tactic by pressing it against Cassandra's head before pushing her to the ground. Cassandra immediately started to record the incident, but Dizzee Rascal was having none of it and snatched away her phone and took her mother's for good measure. This sounds like a hostage situation, doesn't it? The shouting, though, was so loud that 2 neighbors were alerted to this, and they, because of the vicious nature of it, called the police. When the police arrived, Dizzee Rascal told the officers, "I'm the aggressor." So he was, of course, arrested, booked, but this is where it changes, because in a police interview, Dizzee Rascal gave a prepared statement where he then denied the allegations and claimed he had been assaulted by Cassandra Jones, which is a tad strange when later on, when this goes to trial, his barrister indicated that he was 100% cooperative with the police every step of the way. I'm a bit confused by that, because he's denied the allegations and made other allegations. Chances are he retracted them because he realized, nope, I goofed. I'll take this like a man. I'll then smash a reporter's camera for good measure. Yes, adorable stuff, I know. So with this information, we should quickly address the UK law concerning domestic violence, and then the trial itself. Domestic violence is under UK law listed as the Domestic Abuse Act of 2021, with the definition reading, behaviour of a person, A, towards another person, B, is domestic abuse if A and B are each aged 16 or over and are personally connected to each other, and B, the behaviour is abusive. 3. Behaviour is abusive if it consists of any of the following: A, physical or sexual abuse; B, violent or threatening behaviour; C, controlling or coercive behaviour; D, economic abuse; E, psychological, emotional or other abuse. And it does not matter whether the behaviour consists of a single incident or a course of conduct. For personally connected, the definition is they are or have been married to each other, they are or have been civil partners to each other, they have agreed to marry one another, they have entered into a civil partnership agreement, they are or have been in an intimate personal relationship with each other, they each have or there has been a time when they each have had a parental relationship in relation to the same child. They are relatives. When it comes to sentencing, it can range from something as simple as a fine, all the way up to many years in prison. Because of how broad domestic abuse is as a law, the sentence is very much means assessed. Consider what we know so far of the incident itself. We're not looking at life in prison. During the trial, footage of the assault that was taken on Cassandra Jones's phone was shown to the court. No, that is not publicly available. I would never show it to you anyway. Reports were read via social workers and probation officers and the arresting officers, with the report from the social worker indicating that he was an attentive father who provided warmth, affection and comfort to his children. A probation officer concluded that Dizzee Rascal presented as a sensitive, engaged and otherwise law-abiding young man, and that they themselves would like to echo those remarks. His barrister used his charitable work in urban communities, his difficult work schedule, and the fact that he had no previous convictions as an indication that he was a good boy. He's not, but sure, we'll indulge in this. Dizzee Rascal, aka Dylan Mills, was found guilty of domestic abuse. Upon being found guilty, a victim impact statement was read by Cassandra Jones, where she spoke about how the entire incident had rocked her to her core, and that because of it, she was on anxiety medication for panic attacks. Dizzee Rascal left the courtroom and decided, because he's a good boy, to grab a photographer's camera, who, I'll be honest, he was snubbing the reporters after, the whole thing anyway. He then grabbed the camera and smashed it. Bit of a dick move. They are there to do a job after all. No charges have been brought his way because of that, just to be clear. So with this, we now get to a sentence. Dizzee Rascal, aka Dylan Mills, aka Inmate No. 123, found guilty of domestic abuse, was sentenced to a 12-month restraining order, which bans him from contacting his former partner, which means the very thing that he got frustrated over has now become more complicated because his visitation rights now have to go through solicitors to facilitate his parental rights. He also is subject to a 24-week nighttime curfew, and he must pay in excess of £2,000 in costs. Whether the sentence is correct or not, I will defer to all of you. I know someone might say this is a very mild form of DV, and you are quite right. But that does not take away from the fact it is DV, and I consider it serious regardless. There is never any justification for getting violent with someone else. Additionally, I found it somewhat ironic that your barrister was claiming you to be all these good things, these qualities that were so lovely. You were holding your son in your arms while he watched you abuse his mother. That is not the indicator of a good father. Frustrated perhaps, never justify. A lesson that he, your son, will also have to learn from you so he does not also make the same mistakes.